from Cichy Stadium in Fargo, North Dakota. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jed Thomas alongside my partner Josh Johnson as we get set for North Dakota high school football action as the Shanley Deacons prepare to take on the Turtle Mountain Braves. Well, folks, we've got a great game coming up for you here tonight. Some good old-fashioned smash-mouth football is going down. And for more on tonight's game and who some of the players to watch will be, here is Josh Johnson.
Nope, you're right, Jed. First of all, for Turtle Mountain, Russ Parisian. He's a senior. He's their quarterback. We're going to have to look for him to be able to throw and run the ball effectively tonight to be able to have Turtle Mountain be effective. And then also alongside him is Terrell One-Day, a junior, a wide receiver and defensive back. And the man has size and speed. Look for him to stretch the field for Turtle Mountain. For Shanley, who we're going to be watching is Cade Busick. He is now the starting quarterback for the Shanley Deacons after, unfortunately, Caden Kuhneman was injured 2 weeks ago. Last week, he had 5 touchdowns, over 200 yards. The man led the Shanley team to victory last week, and we're going to have to see if he can do it again.
All right, yeah, definitely some names to watch there. We'll have more on them. Cade Busick, especially later on, filling in admirably for Caden Kuhneman, as you said. For now, folks, we're going to have to turn things over to the PA announcer, but don't go anywhere. We got a great game coming up in just a few minutes.
The high school campus, which includes the stadium, is tobacco-free, so we ask that you refrain from smoking on the school grounds. Also, because of the field turf, sunflower seeds are prohibited in the stadium, which also includes the bleachers. Thanks for your cooperation in these matters. The concession stand and restrooms are located on the north end of the bleachers. At this time, we ask that you please rise. Remove your headwear for Father Charles LaCroix.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Thanks and praise be to you, God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has bestowed on us in Christ every spiritual blessing in the heavens. And we thank you for the great blessing of being gathered together here this evening. We ask you to be with us throughout the entire evening. Watch over us, bless us, and those that are close to us. Keep the players free from injury and harm. Allow them to play to the best of their ability. Reward them for their effort tonight. May everything that we think, say, and do here tonight give you great honor, glory, and praise. And when the evening is complete, help us to arrive at our homeward destinations in safety. We pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus, by the power of your Holy Spirit, your God, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please remain standing as Cassie Johnson and Callie Hooves sing the national anthem.
Don't go anywhere, folks. High school football action is next after a brief word from our sponsors.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Butler Machinery Company, Ed's Marine and Storage, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Kochman Brothers Homes, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Netrix IT, Northern Improvement Company. Off the Wall Advertising. Robert Gibb and Sons. Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Shields. And TCI Insurance.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School football action. I'm Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Josh Johnson for what should be a fantastic game here tonight. Shanley Deacons and the Turtle Mountain Braves. Folks, we're gearing up for a good old-fashioned head knocker right here in Cichy Stadium. And for more on tonight's game, Josh, why don't you give us your keys to victory for both squads?
Well, Jed, my key to victory for Turtle Mountain is to be able to run the ball. Their offensive line has some very impressive size. The men are big. They're in that 250 to 300 range. They're tall. They're huge. They cannot be moved. Unless, of course, you're the Shanley Deacons, and then you're coming and you're going to be looking at knocking them in the mouth. And the way you're going to do that is not by trying to get at their size with your own size, but going for that speed. Try to get them at the edge, get around them, and stretching the sidelines.
Absolutely, Josh. It really is a battle of size versus speed here tonight. You look at this Turtle Mountain starting line. Let's just go through a couple of these guys right here. We've got 6'2", 250, 6'4", 275, 6 foot 350, 6'1", 270. Folks, we're not talking about a high school size line. We're looking at a small college sized line. Something the Shanley Deacons have struggled with in the past, playing teams of this size. We know they're capable of matching up with them, though, because they got some guys of their own on the line. Josh, you talk about battling size with speed. Look no further than Caleb Chrisman at the defensive end position for Shanley. He's got some nice size of his own, 6'3", 235, but this is a kid who can move. We're talking about a speed rusher with the size of a power rusher. Shanley matches up very nicely, I think, with this Turtle Mountain team.
Mm-hmm. You're right when you're saying that, Jed, especially with that speed and all that and everything. But Turtle Mountain, what they also have to focus on is while they have the big line and everything, we have to watch out for how these running backs play for them. They have about 3 running backs that they use, 2 of them in the main rotation, the third used additionally, and all of them can run the ball effectively and break ones.
It will be running back by committee, like you said, Josh, and that could go a long way to help them out. You're not going to have that one workhorse who's going to tire easily. Same thing, though, for the Shanley Deacons, a lot of depth in the backfield. One guy I'd be watching for on that Shanley team in the backfield is Cole Fredericks, number 39. Absolutely one of my players to watch here tonight. This is a kid with blazing speed, one of the fastest guys on this team, one of the fastest guys in the division, without a doubt. We saw him go for 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards on just 5 carries against the Central Cass Squirrels a week ago. Cole Fredericks really had his coming out party then, and I think tonight he can have a fantastic encore performance using that speed.
I completely agree with you, Jed. You know, Cole Fredericks, he qualified for state and track in the 100. The guy is fast. He is blazing. Just like you said, look for him to take that edge like he did last week and be able to score touchdowns.
Going to be very fun to watch. Going to be very fun to see the whole size versus speed battle. And one more thing, we talked about it earlier, said we'd get back to it, the Cade Busick factor. The backup quarterback has come in place of an injured Caden Kuhneman. 1 start to his name so far, and that was a heck of a start, Josh.
And, you know, that's exactly what you want from your backup. Cade Busick, he's the man who is always going to be prepared. He's always the hardest worker during practice. He's always going 100%, and he was ready for it. And because he was ready, we saw what he did, and he truly had a good impact.
As you said earlier, 5 touchdowns, 200-plus yards through the air, not to mention a nice game on the ground. Cade Busick looking to have another strong game here tonight. Turtle Mountain, though, going to try to stop him. Central Cass didn't have the answer. Maybe the Braves do here tonight. So we're getting ready to start things off. The Braves will receive the opening kick. It's Cody Malish to kick things away for the Deacons, and it's been an interesting situation at kicker for Shanley. We've seen Max Bush, Cody Malish, and Matt Machenbacher all get some reps in there at kicker. We'll see who they go with tonight. That could be something to watch if this ends up being a closer game. All right, with that whistle, we're underway as Cody Malish boots this thing down deep. It'll bounce right into the end zone, and so Turtle Mountain will start off at their own 25.
And you know, Jed, you were commenting on the kicking situation for Shanley, but Cody coming out there with a strong kick, sending it over Turtle Mountain's return man's head, and you know, very impressive way to start the game for Shanley.
Absolutely. Malish packs the power. Bush has the accuracy. Matt Machenbacher is just kind of a nice compromise between the two, so a lot of options at kicker for Shanley. Still not sure, though, who they'll end up going with when it comes time for field goals and extra points. All right, so time to get our first look here at the Turtle Mountain offense. Parisian going to go under center, and now he's going to split a man out of the backfield. It's Levi LaFountain moving into that wingback position. So now it's a single back set. Handoff directly up the middle, and that play is blown up from the beginning. Travis LaRock wrapped up and brought down by Caleb Chrisman.
And you know, the person who blew up that play was Joe Cava. He was able to dance around the lineman using his explosive speed off the line and was able to get in the backfield to create that loss.
Joe Cava, another guy I'd keep my eye on here tonight at that D-tackle position for the Deacons. He'll sometimes move over to D-end. You see he's right there at that defensive end position right now. Joe Cava, a lot of versatility on the line for the Deacons. Makes a big impact. So 2nd and 11, that run ended up being a loss of 1. It's I formation now for the Braves. Parisian going to fake the pass. It's another handoff. LaFountain tried to slip through, but he could not escape the clutches of Brady Ort on that play. That's good for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards.
Saw LaFountain there pushing through the line there, giving that extra effort. He had some initial contact at the scrimmage line, but was able to fight through and then truly show what he's going to do tonight, and that's going to be fight.
All right, 2 men out to the left, 1 out to the right. It is 3rd down and 5 here for Turtle Mountain. I formation. Parisian going to fake the handoff. Got to do something with it, and it's almost picked off by Manuel. Parisian had pressure in his face, tried to get it to his check down man, Levi LaFountain. Manuel, though, almost ended up coming away with the interception.
You know, Manuel making a great play there and everything, focused on the man or read the screen. But, you know, sometimes the offensive miscues benefit the offense. You know, a little bit better thrown ball, he might have seen that ball and was able to pick it off.
All right, so it does bring up 4th and 5, though, with that incompletion. Braves will look to punt it away, but I think that may have been partially blocked. And so that's just going to roll down to about the 41-yard line. And, boy, you can't ask for better starting field position if you're the Deacons.
For Turtle Mountain, that's not what you can have for punting. You know, a 15-yard net gain, that's just very poor special teams play right there.
Something they're going to have to improve upon if they want to walk away with a win here tonight. 10:25 on the clock. 1st and 10, ball at the 41-yard line. That's where the Deacons will go to work for the first time in this game. Doubles formation, Busick in shotgun. Busick going to drop back, look immediately to his left. He has a man, it's Buckles. Haley Buckles trying to make a couple men miss, and he's going to drag him forward and go down at the 25-yard line. Great gain on the first play of the game for the Deacons.
You see those quick passes. The defensive backs for Turtle Mountain play off their man by a very large amount, sometimes 10, even 15 yards. Those quick passes, those are going to be one of the keys to Shanley's game tonight.
Absolutely, the Braves are going to have to maybe tighten things up if they want to keep those short gains from happening. But here's another one as Jake Cava's got the ball, still on his feet, wrapped up and brought down around the 8-yard line. And the Deacons offense firing on all cylinders to start things off.
You know, I'm impressed by the offensive strategies so far. It looks like the Shanley coaches have scouted this Turtle Mountain team, seen what their defense was like, and now allowed their offense to get into a rhythm and now be 1st and goal.
That's absolutely correct, Josh. Those play calls just exploiting the weaknesses in the Turtle Mountain defense. As you said, 1st and goal now, I formation for the Deacons. It's going to be a handoff up the gut to Cava, and just like that, 3 plays to get 6 points. Jake Cava into the end zone. Or was that Caleb Chrisman?
I believe, Jed, that it was Caleb Chrisman. Easy to get the two confused, though. Both big men, a lot of speed, very athletic, and key players to the Shanley team.
So Caleb Chrisman, in only his 2nd game back from injury, he was hurt in a scrimmage before the season started. He is back, and boy, he's making a big impact. The big fullback rumbles into the end zone.
So, Jed, could you ask for a better start for the Shanley Deacons? You know, they have a 3-and-out, a tip punt, great field position, and then 3 plays, and then they're into the end zone.
Absolutely. They force the Braves to go 3-and-out. Then they take the ball and go 3-and-in as they score the touchdown in 3 plays there. By the way, that's Max Bush who completes the PAT, a good sign for the Deacons as he's had his struggles in those extra points. But no, Josh, I don't think you can ask for a better start here for Shanley. They are looking very strong early on.
Another thing, Jed, that we have to be careful about tonight, especially for the players, is that it's a hot one. You know, it's hot, it's muggy, and during these types of games, it's not exactly the first or second quarter that it really affects you, but that third and fourth, cramps can start to become an issue, and then players can start going down.
No question, Josh. This heat and humidity will be a big factor. I think that's where the depth will come into play in a game like this where guys are getting tired a lot more easily. I think that's where the depth really gives teams the edge. We'll see who has the deeper squad here tonight as that kick is into the end zone. Once again, Cody Malish just bombing them down on the kickoffs.
Cody Malish kicking it even farther than before. That one dropped in the end zone. I think Cody's just getting warmed up for tonight, and if Shanley is going to have their way, they're looking to get him as many kicks as possible.
So the Turtle Mountain offense back out after a unsuccessful first try, 3-and-out as we said. Saw a couple of run plays that worked okay for them, but they just were not able to get enough push up front to really make anything of note happen. And that's just, you can't have that if you are Turtle Mountain. We're looking at a huge size advantage on the line. They got to capitalize on that if they want to walk away with a win. Parisian going to hand this one off up the middle and met right away. It's Tanner Breen. He was not going anywhere. That's going to be a loss of 1, I believe.
You know, Jed, you see the Shanley defense just swarming, and then you also see how many guys they have in the box. They have about 9 guys in the box right now. They're playing man coverage to the 2 outside wide receivers, being very trusty in their corners, Tom Erie and Haley Buckles, to cover those men.
And you know, Josh, if you are the Deacons, why not trust in Erie and Buckles? I mean, we're looking at arguably 2 of the best defensive backs in all of Double-A back there for Shanley. Both guys have great speed. They're fantastic when playing in isolation. Man in motion now, it's Breen for the Braves. Parisian play-action pass, fires, he's got Breen complete, but wrapped up and brought down. It was Talon Hoffer right there to get on top of him, and Jake Cava there to clean it up.
Nice play call there from Turtle Mountain. You know, like we were saying, Shanley stacking the box. So what do? They have a quick pass to the outside, you know, force the Shanley Deacons to stretch their defense out a little bit more and then play a little bit more sideline to sideline.
Absolutely, Josh. I like that play call a lot. Makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 5 now, just taking advantage of the weakness there for Shanley's defense. So now Turtle Mountain looking to convert their first 3rd down of the game here. Trips right, flanker left. Parisian in shotgun. Parisian going to drop back to pass, has a little time, fires over the middle, complete to Lunde. He started to run a little bit horizontally there, though, trying to find some space, and I think that'll cost him the first down as he looks to be a yard short.
You know, it looks like they're staying in the huddle, going to go for the offensive play, try to get the first down. And, you know, at this point, if I'm Turtle Mountain, I agree with this call. The coaches, they know they're going to have to be aggressive with this game. You know, it's 4th and inches. Their punt last time had a net of 15 yards. Go
Absolutely. The QB sneak is the play call. Not surprising. I think Parisian has got that first down and more. And when you've got the size advantage that the Braves have, that is, I totally agree, Josh. I think that was a good call. Parisian just snuck in behind the big boys up front, and that's good for a fresh set of downs.
And, you know, if you're Turtle Mountain, you take it back a little bit of that momentum right there. You know, Shanley had a first good defensive possession, scored quick, but now you got a first down, and now you can start to build on things.
And if you can keep that Shanley defense out there for a long time on a hot day like today, they're going to get pretty tired pretty fast. Man in motion now for the Braves. It's a handoff, though, up the middle. Not going very far, though. That time it's LaRock who gets thrown back by Jake Cava. And Jake Cava playing like a man possessed on that play.
You know, LaRock, he got contact as soon as he had the ball, though. Able to perform a very impressive spin move to get out. But even then, the Shanley defense showing no mercy to Turtle Mountain's run game.
Yeah, Josh, I am impressed with LaRock. As you said, he is getting met almost immediately on most of his carries, but he's doing a good job getting those 2-3 yard gains when he should be getting bottled up for nothing. All right, Parisian now under center, 2 men join him in the backfield. Dropping back to pass. Wasik coming on the blitz. Parisian wrapped up and brought down by a couple of Deacons. It's Joe Cava in there with Jake Kostecki, but it was Wasik who put the initial pressure on there. A fantastic stop there for Shanley.
See, that's something that we've seen from Shanley that's new this year, new coaches, is that they are willing to blitz their guys and to bring them most any down. You know, and that's another thing. When you have those big guys on the offensive line for Turtle Mountain, what do you do if you're Shanley? You blitz to the outside and get around them.
Right, Josh, use that speed. As you said, it is kind of a new thing this year. It's the calling card of Steve Huber, though. He loves to blitz, and he really loves to blitz on third down. We've got 3rd and 15. I would not be surprised if Steve Huber brings the heat here on this play. Parisian drops back to pass. Here comes the pressure. That ball is tipped, and Cava could not quite get under it, though. A nice play nonetheless as the Deacons make it 4th and 15 and will force the Braves to punt here.
A very dangerous thing for Turtle Mountain right there. Those tip balls, you never know where they're going to go, and unfortunately, Jake Cava, he was only that far away from being able to make the interception.
So close, but the Braves escape another turnover here. Second time, though, we've seen them just about have a ball picked off. And this time it is a low punt as the pressure was right in the face of the punter. And a nice tackle on Tom Erie in the open field by Dylan Short. Short, 6'1", 285. That is some impressive speed there to catch Tom Erie before he could break that one out.
Well, it was kind of funny. You know, you saw Tom caught the ball and everything, but he just, like, put a shoulder into Tom, and Tom just kind of went flying back. That's what the size does for you folks, you know. You make a little bit of contact, and that little bit of contact goes a long way.
No doubt. 5:48 on the clock. The Deacons hold a 7-0 lead. Last possession, they're a bit more successful for Turtle Mountain, but they are still forced to punt. Deacon offense going back to work. Here comes Cole Fredericks on the outside. We talked about it earlier, folks. Cole Fredericks, good for a gain of about 14 yards that time. And I would not be surprised if we see the Deacons just go to that all night long.
And that's the thing, Jed. They have capable running backs in Cole Fredericks and Haley Buckles. If need be, they can keep running those pitches to the outside. There was a lot of green space for Fredericks there.
1st and 10 now at the Turtle Mountain 38-yard line for the home team. Busick in shotgun. He's got 2 men out to his left, 1 man out to the right. Busick going to throw one out over to Buckles here. Haley Buckles has a little bit of space, and he's brought down just short of that 1st down marker. Good for a gain of about 8 yards.
You know, I know the Shanley coaches, and then I also know Haley Buckles. And I know that they trust Haley Buckles. When they have a situation where they can put him one-on-one with a defensive man, with the defensive man playing about 8 yards off, they're going to get the ball to him.
And you know, Josh, like you said, those D-backs playing a bit off, and now we are going to see a timeout taken by the Deacons, if I'm not mistaken. But, Josh, as you were saying, those D-backs playing pretty far off the line for Turtle Mountain. I think if the Braves want any chance of stopping the Shanley passing attack, they're going to have to learn how to play the press here. They're going to have to get in the Deacons' faces up front because they just cannot continue to play off the line like they are against a passing attack this strong.
Well, and that's the thing, Jed. You know, Cade Busick's passes, they've all been within about 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, but total they've gained over 30 to 40 yards in those plays. And you just got to wonder, what is Turtle Mountain going to do? How are they going to respond to the Shanley quick passing attack?
And so, folks, that timeout will finish. It is a timeout taken by Turtle Mountain. Not the most surprising there. As they're on their heels right now on defense. It's 2nd and 1. Maybe just looking to regroup, get a breather, and kind of reestablish their defense here, see if they can't get a stop. Busick had pressure coming, and that one's going to be a little too far ahead of Haley Buckles. Nice job on the blitz that time. Travis LaRock puts the pressure on Busick, forces a bit of an errant pass.
Nice play from Turtle Mountain and everything, being able to get that pressure, Cade Busick taking a shot. But then also I like the play call from the Shanley coaches. You know, it's a 2nd and 1 situation. You're close to the end zone. This is a situation where you can take a shot deep down the field, get those vertical threats, and then you're still in a very 3rd and manageable situation.
Absolutely. 2nd and short. Often you'll see coaches take that shot, especially when you're in range, like you said, Josh. So now 3rd and 1. Interesting look, though. It's Busick just with 1 running back. And Busick is going to roll out to his right. Pressure coming. Has to step up. Moving forward with it. He spins forward. Still on his feet. And out to the 1st down. They just about had him in the backfield. Kate Busick almost sacked on 3rd down, able to pick up the first there using his legs.
And that's what you have with Cade Busick. You have great mobility. For a while in his career, he was a running back himself. But then he saw the pressure coming. He saw the open space in the middle of the field. And you know what he said? I'm going to pick up this first down myself, and then we're just going to move on from there.
It was a risky play call that time by Troy Mattern, but he loves that type of play call. He loves to be aggressive, and more often than not, it works. The Deacons are 4-0. They picked up that first down, so I'm not going to question it. Short carry that time. It's Manuel, the fullback. That's good for a gain of about 2 yards.
A little bit more of a traditional run, a little bit more inside, and then Turtle Mountain size really getting to Shanley right there, kind of clogging up that middle. Manuel having a tough time getting any space.
And that is an area where Turtle Mountain is using their size effectively. As you said, Josh, they're bottling up that middle of the field, forcing Shanley to go to the outside. The thing is, though, the outside's working very well as Busick is going to find a man. It's Jake McKeever still on his feet, finally brought down inside the 10-yard line by Keeson Peltier.
Again, planted. It was a hard tackle on McKeever, but then at the same time, it was just another short pass by Shanley, and that's what we've been seeing, and that's what we've been seeing that has worked. Just expect Shanley to keep going back to that.
And Cade Busick really works well in that type of offense. He fires just bullets, really fast, clean, on-target passes, and those work so well on those short 5-yard pass plays.
Notice Cava is in the backfield right now as a lead blocker.
We'll see that, I have to imagine, a lot in short yardage situations because that's also an option as Cade Busick finds Jake Cava on the play-action pass for another Deacon touchdown.
And, you know, if you're Turtle Mountain in that situation, you think, you know what, Cava's in the backfield. We're thinking run. He's a great lead blocker and everything, but then they just do a little slip out the offensive line and everything. Cava, a great wide receiver along with a blocker, and able to score that touchdown.
That'll make it 13-0. Max Bush out there going to try to make it 14-0 in favor of Shanley. Snaps good, holds good. The kick is up, it's low, but it just makes it through. So 14-0 now in favor of Shanley, and we still got 3:52 to go here in the first quarter. Josh, your thoughts in this opening quarter of play?
Well, right now what I'm seeing Turtle Mountain have a little bit of success here and there, but for Shanley, I'm seeing an overwhelming presence in their ability to outrun and outgun this Turtle Mountain team. They are faster than them, and then they're just getting those quick passes to the outside. They're getting their men in space, and then that's allowing them to get the yards. On defense, Shanley, what they're doing is they're stacking the box and then just allowing their men to play man coverage, which allows them to completely stop the run, but while be confident that nothing's going over their head.
Yeah, you know, I think you've got it right there, Josh. That's really been the whole game for the Deacons. Turtle Mountain has that size advantage. Shanley just knows how to outwork it. I just don't think the Braves are really taking advantage of that size right now. Perhaps we'll see if they can on offense here, though, because that's really where it's going to help. A big, burly O-line like that can make things happen in the run game. So Breen will get a chance to bring this ball out. He had a little space, but he was wrapped up and brought down very nicely by Matthew Machenbacher. Machenbacher making a great shoestring tackle that time.
You know, being on special teams and then being on that kickoff team, it's always a little bit interesting. You know, you're going a full sprint down the field. You're trying to find a man who has the ball, and then he's running full speed at you. Always a little bit interesting to make those tackles. Machenbacher making a very impressive play.
So 3:46 left in the first quarter. Turtle Mountain stopped both times on their previous offensive possessions, just about interceptions on both those possessions. Perhaps third time's the charm for the Braves. I formation. Parisian drops back, hands it off to Breen. Breen had some space, but is then wrapped up and brought down from behind. And you know, on so many of these carries, it looks like the running back has a hole, and all of a sudden he gets dragged down from behind. That's exactly what happens this time.
And you're going to have to wonder about that if they're going to adjust the running back depth or something. Like you said, Ed, there is the hole there initially, but then as soon as the running back gets to that hole, the Shanley defense just swallows and just collapses it.
So there's a hole there. It's just not lasting long enough. So 2 men Now split out right for the Braves. Parisian going to drop back to pass. Has some time, finds Breen in the flat. Buckles right on top of him, though, and he's wrapped up and brought down. And that is not a gain of anything. It might even be a loss that time.
And, you know, these defensive backs for Shanley, they are trained to keep going to the man, even when the man's doing that stuttering, that juking stuff that you saw Turtle Mountain doing there. They're just trained to keep going and then to make that tackle, not allowing the wide receivers to have any space.
And, you know, even had Buckles missed that tackle, as you said, he was aggressive there. He pursued him in the open field. Had Buckles missed, there were 2-3 men right behind him to clean that up. So when you've got those kind of numbers, you can take risks and try to tackle guys who have a little space like that. Breen in motion, but we got a whistle and a flag. I think we've got illegal motion this time against the Braves, and that's going to cost them here on 3rd and 8.
And that's the risk that you run with running plays. Running plays that involve the motion. You know, you have that motion. You got to make sure that there's still 7 men on the line of scrimmage. You got to make sure that the man's a certain depth behind the scrimmage line and all these things. And so it can become very technical and very tricky to run those correctly.
So it's a 5-yard penalty. Turtle Mountain now facing 3rd and 13. 2:10 on the clock here in the first quarter as a man in motion. Parisian drops back, pressure coming. Found someone in the flat, but it did not last long. Austin Manuel blows that play up. Travis LaRock had the ball in his hands, and Austin Manuel took it away.
And it looks like right now that Manuel on pass plays is just tracking the running back. We saw earlier on the screen on Turtle Mountain's first possession that it was Manuel who blew up the play. And now this one, trying to get the running back out in the flat. Manuel right there, able just to hit the running back.
Well, and you know, that's what you can do when you're running a 4-4. You got a lot of linebackers out there able to track guys like Austin Manuel did there, as this punt is going to fall inside the 30. And special teams play just continues to falter here for Turtle Mountain, really costing them right now in the field position battle.
You know, 1:56 right now left in the first quarter. And if you're Turtle Mountain, you got to wonder, you know, like, when am I going to be able to step up? And when am I going to be able to make this a game again?
Absolutely, Josh. They're going to have to do something soon here. And in a quick update from AA play around the state, Devils Lake leads Valley City 13-6 at the end of the first quarter. Try to keep you posted on that game and any others we have the score from. 1:56 on the clock as the Deacons go back to work here. Cade Busick on the option play. That ball was out, but Fredericks picked it up off the ground, and Fredericks still on his feet and into the end zone for the Deacon touchdown. How about that play from Cole Fredericks?
And you know, Jed, here's the thing. Watch this. You know, it's not the greatest pitch ever. The ball takes a fortune of bounds. But Fredericks, the smart player that he is, picks it up. There's a great block on the outside by, I think, Miles Wasick. And then Fredericks, with his speed, just down the line and able to score that touchdown. Fantastic play. Great show of athleticism.
Yeah, as you said, Josh, Cole Fredericks just finding the corner there. And from there, it's all speed. You just can't catch a guy like that. Miles Wasick was the man who laid that block. He laid it out on Parisian. Russ Parisian, the starting QB for the Braves. That was a big hit to take.
And, you know, that's the thing. Also on that play, you saw that the Turtle Mountain corners were sneaking up a little bit more. Now 3 to 4 yards off the wide receivers for Shanley. But then what does Shanley do? They go to the option run, and they let Fredericks get to the outside and then take it in for a touchdown.
So 1:47 left to go. It is only the first quarter, and the Shanley Deacons hold a 21-0 lead right now over Turtle Mountain. And you know what? They're doing exactly what we thought right now. They are using their speed. They're not letting the size advantage affect them at all. They're quicker off the line right now. They're quicker on the outside, and they've got the points on the scoreboard up 21-0.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm Shanley right now, you keep pushing. And you keep stepping on Turtle Mountain. If they keep giving you all this room and all this space and these ability to make plays, you just keep going. Because right now, like you said, it's still the first quarter. Late in the first quarter, but it's still the first quarter. A lot of game left to be played.
Absolutely. Perhaps the Braves can wear the Deacons down. And, folks, it appears to be raining just lightly right now. That might be something to watch here, as that ball will be pretty slick if it starts to get wet. But the rain, absolutely something to watch. We'll see how long that lasts out there.
The rain itself should be benefiting Turtle Mountain. As we've seen Shanley completing those short little passes, those just get all the harder when the ball is wet, your gloves are wet. Things are just a little bit more slippery, so we'll have to see if that's a factor in this game.
And folks, another update here from Double A action in the Watford City Central Cass game. Watford City leads Central Cass 6-0 with 4:10 left in the first. And at the end of the first quarter, Bismarck, St. Mary's, and Jamestown are tied 0-0. That's a big game to watch, folks. Two of the top teams in the state. The Deacons defeated Jamestown week 1, 14-7, and then they go out to St. Mary's next week. That'll be a big game to watch as well. Big carry that time for LaRock. That's a first down, and huge momentum there for Turtle Mountain to get a big run like that. We haven't seen anything like that for them all game.
Well, you've seen LaRock. He's been fighting in all of his runs and everything. But it was just very impressive by that run to be able to get that yardage and go.
Right, we just haven't seen that from Turtle Mountain so far. I think the difference there, I think we saw a lot better push by the O-line. You know, we've talked about the size advantage, but one thing they haven't been doing a great job of is getting that initial push. That time, though, they're able to get it as this snap is airmailed over Russ Parisian's head, and he just has to fall on top of it. A very unfortunate turn of events there for Turtle Mountain, as just when they had some momentum going, that ball sails over the head of Russ Parisian. At the very least, he made a nice play there, just falling on it, not trying to be a hero and pick it up and run.
But truly, that is very unfortunate for Turtle Mountain. You know, you had LaRock make that great run there for the first down. The offensive line had a push, but then the mistake just happens with the snap. The ball flies over the QB's head.
Not much you can do there. So now Turtle Mountain facing 2nd down and 30 after that huge loss of yardage. Parisian fires. It's picked by Wasick, and Miles Wasick is into the end zone with the pick 6 on the near side, and things go from bad to worse here for Turtle Mountain.
You know, you have to wonder about Parisian here. He looks like he's targeting an out route to the outside, but the ball just drops, and it looks like he's throwing to Miles Wasick there. Miles Wasick laying the block during Frederick's run, but now getting his show of glory and showing what he can do with his reception abilities and scoring that touchdown.
Yeah, you know, Josh, I think it's just a combination of two things there, like you were talking about. First off, Miles Wasick does a great job undercutting that route and being right where he needs to be. And then secondly, Russ Parisian, I think, just kind of underthrows that ball there, and that leads to the pick 6. Something to think about, you know, when this ball is wet like it is, it can be very hard to get any force behind it as it can move in your hand. Perhaps that was a factor. Not sure, but things just not going great here in the opening quarter for Turtle Mountain. They are down 28-0 with 30 seconds to go still.
And see, from Shanley right now, what you're truly seeing is a complete game. Their special teams has been great so far. Cody Malish being able to kick those into the end zone. Their run game has been very effective, especially to the outside. And then their passing game, those short passes, has also been very effective. Their defense has just been absolutely swallowing Turtle Mountain. And so for all three phases, you got special teams, offense, and defense, Shanley is just dominating. And that is what you want if you're the Shanley coaches.
For sure, Josh. I think a big difference we're seeing between these two teams, I think we're seeing a more refined Shanley squad. Some of those fundamentals just appear to be down better for them. We're looking at a pretty young Turtle Mountain squad out there, a lot of good size, a lot of good athleticism, but it's a lot of raw potential, not as well refined as the Deacons squad that's got a bit more of a veteran presence, and you have to wonder if that is playing a big factor here. So 28-0, 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. Another long kick will end up in the end zone here for Shanley. Special teams play continues to be strong.
And that's another thing, Jed. Like you were saying, the leadership factor is huge, especially in these situations. As a team, if you're down 28-0, what you need is your seniors and your juniors to be able to step up and to say, hey, you guys, it's still the first quarter. We're still in this game, still a lot of time. What we got to do is we just got to take this one possession at a time. The Shanley Deacons have that leadership. Now we need to see if Turtle Mountain can calm down a little bit and see if their leaders can guide them through this.
Right, see if some of these younger guys can step up here. Like we said, it's a roster filled with a lot of sophomores, a lot of younger guys. Rain appears to be letting up. It looked like a small shower just kind of coming through here. And this carry is going nowhere for the Braves. The Deacon defense continues to just smother them.
And, you know, nothing gets a defense more exciting than scoring points. And that's what they did on the last possession. You can bet that everybody on this defense right now is hyped, and they are ready to score more.
No doubt about it, Josh. Anytime a defense can score points, they're going to feel very, very good about themselves. Definitely a bit motivation going forward. And that play will do it for the first quarter here. So after 1 quarter of action, dominant play here from the Deacons. We'll have a little bit about this first quarter. But first, folks, we want to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon athletics to a higher level. And so, after 1 quarter of action here, obviously it's a dominant performance by the Shanley Deacons, up 28-0. Josh, we got 3 quarters left to play, a lot of game left to go here. What do you think Turtle Mountain has to do to just kind of get some momentum going here? Not even necessarily points, just get the momentum maybe back in their favor a little bit.
Well, you know, the first step for anything is just to keep the fundamentals correct. You know, have that good snap, have that good technique and everything. But truly what they need is just a decent play. It could be 3, 4, 5 yards, but being technically sound and knowing that every man did his job correctly, and then from there you grow. Then you get a first down, and then you get another first down, and then you turn it into a drive.
I like it. Yeah, not necessarily one big thing, just a combination of little things. And look at this, a trick play. It's tipped, though, and intercepted originally by Manuel, but Cava took it away, and he'll run it into the end zone. Jake Cava with the defensive touchdown for the Deacons. And how about that? Austin Manuel was reaching out for it. Cava, though, had the better look at it, was able to get it and just take off.
And you know, Jed, there's the thing, you know, Turtle Mountain, they were willing to take a risk. They were willing to take a shot with that trick play, but Shanley defense not giving them anything. And then Cava showing his athleticism and just being able to go there. You know, if this keeps going this way, you have to wonder who's going to be scoring more points, the Shanley defense or the Shanley offense, Jed.
Well, Josh, I think the Shanley defense would love to hear you say that, as they're responsible for 2 touchdowns. You're right. They are really scoring big for the Deacons. And like you said there, you got to tip your hat to the Braves for going for the trick play there. Obviously, it doesn't work out, but, you know, I just don't think you can say Coach St. Vincent here for Turtle Mountain has coached a bad game. I think he's really done all he can to get his team back in this one. They have just not had any breaks really here tonight. Just a combination of just unfortunate luck, tipped balls. They just have not had many bounces here tonight.
I agree with you on that, Judd, but then also I feel like credit should be given to the Shanley coaches. Like we were saying, we were seeing the defensive schemes being able to target it to Turtle Mountain, the offensive play calling, all of that, the special teams technique in play. You got to give credit to the Shanley coaches. They have been coaching this team. This team has been prepared, obviously, very well for this game.
Absolutely, Josh. No doubt about that. Troy Mattern, Steve Huber, and the whole coaching staff, they came prepared tonight. That is abundantly clear, up 35-0 with the second quarter having just started. Troy Mattern, really just this year, they're 4-0 right now with some quality wins. Having a great game here tonight, obviously. It's been really a seamless transition here with Coach Mattern having taken over for Rod Oxendahl, because those are some big shoes to fill. I mean, we're talking about a North Dakota legend in Rod Oxendahl, and Troy Mattern has not missed a beat coming in here.
Like you said, Rod, one of the winningest coaches in high school history. And, you know, Troy Mattern, he was ready for this challenge. He had led a South team to multiple successful seasons. And, you know, he was ready to come here to Shanley and to start a new legacy here and truly build that Deacon pride.
And, you know, not even, you can't even really say he is riding off the wave of Rod, because he came in here and really implemented all new systems, all new plays. He made this team his own, really crafted it the way he wanted, and it's worked out fantastic. So like you said, Josh, credit where credit is due. I've been blown away by this Shanley coaching staff tonight and this season in general.
Very much so, very impressive. See Turtle Mountain having a run there, stuffed at the line though. Joe Cava being able to get skinny down that line, just go straight down the line of scrimmage and find that ball.
Yeah, another impressive performance here tonight has been this Shanley line. They're playing, as we said, a much bigger Turtle Mountain line right in their faces, and they are not intimidated. They're not just using the speed. They're going right up with them. They're fighting them pound for pound right in their faces, and they're winning a lot of those battles. They're not backing down, and it's been impressive. 11:02 on the clock. It's a handoff up the middle here, a little bit of space for LaFountain, but he's wrapped up and brought down, and the Deacons just continue to swarm here.
You see Cava shooting a gap in that blocking, and while he doesn't make the tackle, he's the one who blows up the play because he slows the running back down, has to gain his balance and everything, and then the Shanley defense is able just to swarm on the Turtle Mountain running back and make the tackle.
So 3rd and 7 now. Braves going to have the ball from their own 34-yard line. First down here would be huge for them as just a confidence booster, really. We know they're capable of it. The passing game has looked strong at points. It's just been about keeping the pocket clean. That's been the problem here for Russ Parisian.
Watch for blitz, Jed.
And you are right, Josh, as the Deacons bring the heat. Parisian fires downfield, and the flag comes in. And, Josh, I got to say, I think that's the right call. Breen was running down the field. I believe that was Tom Erie who was running there with him, and I think Breen just ends up getting muscled to the ground there.
And that's the thing. When these high fly balls are thrown and everything, it's hard for both the wide receiver and the defensive back to do that. I think during the play that Tom Erie extended his arm just a little bit, and, you know, refs, they're going to call that because that's impeding the wide receiver, and that's what they're looking for with pass interference.
So good coverage, but at the end of the day, yeah, Josh, good call. I think that's true, and a good break here for Turtle Mountain. No doubt about it. They pick up the first down, and they got the ball way downfield here now. They all of a sudden go from their own 34 to their own 49 and a fresh set of downs.
And, you know, they're challenging Shanley's single coverage now by going to the outside like that. You have to wonder, is Shanley's defense going to stay the same, or are they going to have some safety help?
I formation, Parisian hands this one off up the gut. Nice little gain of 4 or 5, but the flag comes in pretty fast. We'll see what the call is. And it looks like it'll be going against the Braves, and that is the call. We got a false start coming against Turtle Mountain. Or make that illegal procedure, I believe. And that's the second one of those we've seen against Turtle Mountain in this game. And that's unfortunate for them. They'll back it up 1st and 15.
You know, they had a penalty go their way with the pass interference down there, but then also just making the technical mistake, something that's very hard to do, making those mistakes when you're behind, especially when you're behind by this much. You just can't really afford that.
Under 10 minutes to go now in the second. It's 9:50 on the clock. Man in motion now for the Braves, and it's a quick pitch. It's a trick play, a throw downfield, and Lundy's got it. Look at this. Terrell Lundy still on his feet, driving forward. Multiple Deacons still on him. My gosh. Finally brought down at the 23-yard line. But how about that for Turtle Mountain?
And, you know, that is what Turtle Mountain looks like they're going to be doing now. They're going to be attacking that outside. You know, Lundy, looking at his stats here, he is 6'3" and 220. The man is tall. He is big. You saw that he just muscled his way in front of Tom Erie right there. Tom wasn't able to do anything. Just catches the ball, and then it takes about 4 Deacons to take him down.
I mean, he's just got guys grabbing onto him, and you would not guess it by the way he stands there and just continues to walk forward. Very impressive. And, of course, a great pass by Isaiah Samuelson, who's going to throw another ball and just about had his man there, Tanner Breen. He does not quite connect, though. But, wow, what aggressive play calling here from Turtle Mountain. And, Josh, I got to say, I love it. I just love to see him fight like this.
Well, and see, that's the thing. You're down 35-0. It's the second quarter. Why not do something, Jed? You know, like run 2 plays in a row. While you have the wide receiver throwing the ball both plays, one of them making a huge gain, the other one almost being a completion, why not? Keep going for it.
Absolutely, Josh. I can't agree more. I love the fight that the Braves are showing right now. Man in motion now, it's Breen, and it's a handoff up the gut this time for the Braves and a little bit of space. And that's the other thing, Josh, when you start taking shots like that and running trick plays, it's going to open up the middle of the field a lot more for you. And this time, Travis LaRock has a lot more space to work with as he goes for about 5 yards there.
And see, the one thing that you don't want to be doing on the football field is thinking. You want to be reacting, Jed. Am I right? And so with that, with all these trick plays by Turtle Mountain, they're making the Shanley defense think. They're making them think, oh, what's going to happen on this play? How are they going to trick us? Impressive play by the Turtle Mountain.
Interesting take there, Josh, saying you don't want Shanley to use their heads.
You don't.
But I get what you're saying. Absolutely, those trick plays are making them think. But now we got a flag, and it looks like another false start here against Turtle Mountain. False start or illegal procedure, excuse me. But, man, those have really hurt Turtle Mountain in this game as it goes from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11.
You know, and for a high school football game, it's a good atmosphere here down at Shanley. You know, you got a big crowd and everything. The noise can get to you sometimes. It's hot, it's humid, you're tired. You've been grinding so far. Those things can happen.
Yeah, no question about it. That's the other thing, folks. It really has not cooled down too much out here. And when you got pads and a helmet on, you get tired pretty quick. And another shot through the air will not work this time as Parisian overthrew his receiver. But to be honest, it really didn't matter. Tom Erie, it was Erie Island out there. He was all over his man that time. Nowhere for Diego Samuelson to go.
And we'll have to see what Turtle Mountain does here. Up, take a timeout, trying to regroup their offense a little bit. But, Jed, what I'm thinking is, you know, it's 4th and 12. They're on their own about 25. You know, their punt game hasn't been strong. No high school kicker can really make an accurate kick from this distance. You know, I think you got to go for it here and see what you can pull out. You got to wonder what is in the Turtle Mountain coach's head, what they're trying to pull out here.
I'd agree with you, Josh. I do think that's the right call. I do have to argue one thing, though. You say no high school kicker could convert from this distance too accurately. Well, you're forgetting about Jake Reinholtz maybe from last year, now with the NDSU Bison, of course. But no, Josh, I like what you're saying there. I think you're right. I think at this distance, you just got to try and take a shot, pick up this first down, see what happens.
Well, I stand corrected, Jed, and I'm sorry. But even still, even Jake Reinholtz, the man is a beast with a leg and everything. He could struggle from this distance.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, he could put him in when he wanted to.
So it does appear to be the case, though, Josh. As you said, Turtle Mountain going to try to go for it. I fully agree with this. We'll see what happens. They got a man in motion. It's Breen. Parisian drops back to pass. He's got some time. Fires one to Breen, but it's picked off by Hoffer at the 1 yard line. And so a turnover here, but better than a turnover on downs, I suppose, as Shanley's now backed up at their own 1.
Well, yeah, taking a shot to the end zone. You know, Talon Hoffer making the great play, athletic play and everything, but also next time maybe just that guiding process, you're down there in the end zone, just knocking the ball down, because then you have much better field position. You know, the defensive backs, they always love to have that interception, have that pick, show the people that, you know what, they can catch the ball too. But sometimes you got to make the smarter play and just knock that thing down.
Absolutely, Josh, and so hard to fight your instincts, too, because every fiber in your body is telling you, grab that ball, grab that ball. But as you said, maybe that time would have been smarter to knock it down, obviously. Still, though, works out well for the Deacons. They got the ball here, and in 2 games, that is Talon Hoffer's 3rd interception. He had 2 against Central Cass last week, and he picks up another here tonight.
Truly just showing that he is a ball-hawking safety, and, you know, he wants to make those plays. But then Shanley getting stuffed right there at the line. Looks like it's about a loss of a yard, and they got to be careful here. They are backed up against their own end zone. Turtle Mountain might get some momentum from a safety.
Right, you do not want to give that safety up. Nothing gets a team fired up more than a play like a safety. Busick going to fire downfield, and he's got Cam Seville complete at about the 32-yard line. And how about Seville?
Well, Jed, I think I might have to correct you on this one. Nothing gets a team more fired up than a safety. Well, how about a 30-yard pass from your QB in his end zone over the shoulder and then making the catch? How about?
Josh, you got me there. I stand corrected. Fantastic play there for the Deacons. What a ball from Cade Busick, too. That was a dime from a very tough position. Busick going to try again. This time he's a little off target to Jake McKeever. I'll bring up 2nd and 10. perhaps a little too fired up after a nice play there.
But even still, going back to that play, that is a very difficult throw to make. You know, he places that perfectly where only his wide receiver is going to be able to make the play and the catch.
For sure. Great play, great throw, and a nice job by Seville there to get open and make the grab. Wasn't a ton of space, but it was enough, and then he was able to make a nice catch up against the out-of-bounds line. Busick in shotgun now. It's a little pitch out to Fredericks. Fredericks has some space, going to try to turn it upfield, and he'll lower the shoulder for a gain of about 4 or 5, but we got a flag in the backfield, and I think it'll be a hold, and that appears to be the call. So a hold against the Deacons will cost them some hard-fought yardage there by Cole Fredericks.
And while the holding does definitely benefit Turtle Mountain right there, what I'm really looking at is that Turtle Mountain was keeping the cup. And in football, that's just keeping the edge, you know, containing that running back. You saw Fredericks. He didn't get to the edge there right away. They were stopping him. They were forcing him to cut and then to try to go upfield, allowing time for Turtle Mountain to get over there and to stop his run.
Absolutely, Josh, and that is the thing about Cole Fredericks. It's not so much about stopping him, it's about containing him. And that time, Turtle Mountain does a nice job of keeping him contained. 7:10 left to go now as it's 2nd and 20 for the Deacons here. Busick going to drop back to pass, fires one over the middle, has Cava, brings it in with one hand, now still on his feet, on the far sideline, makes a spin move, but he stepped out of bounds. Still good for the first down. That's a gain of about 22 yards there. A nice throw, but an even better catch this time by Jake Cava.
And you just see him bobble that right there. And then you see him just stiff arm that man to the ground. Cava, he's a big guy, athletic, just able to keep on running. And Shanley truly showing their passability here with their long pass out of the end zone. And then right there picking up the first down on a 2nd and 20.
And Cade Busick continues to impress here with some nice throws. That time he was a little behind Cava, but it was still in the vicinity, and he was able to bring it in. And now Busick took a shot there. It's a nice gain for the Deacons, but boy, that's got to make you cringe a little bit if you're Coach Mattern. You don't want to see your second-string quarterback taking a big hit like that. You've already lost your first stringer in Kuhneman and your third stringer in Cooper Mattern.
You know, he does take a big shot there, but what you see is he has perfect timing. He sees the defender is committed to tackling him and not his running back, and so then once he sees that, he's just able to pitch the ball right away, right over to Fredericks and pick up a gain.
Right, and it's a pretty brave play there by Busick. Like you said, he knows the defender's coming for him, but he also knows that that's going to make this play a whole lot easier. So he makes a nice pitch out to Fredericks, and Cam Seville just about had a fantastic grab, but it was broken up that time by Diego Samuelson.
You know, a little hesitation from Cade Busick there in making the throw, which allowed time for the Turtle Mountain to safety to be able to come up and then make a pressure on Cam Seville.
And that time it does lead to the incompletion. Seville just about trapped that one. Made a nice play, but it went out of his hands after Samuelson got in there. 6:51 left to go in the first half. Trips right, flanker left, Busick in shotgun. Ball's on the ground, though, and he ends up handing it to Buckles. And that is a big loss for the Deacons there in a botched play. And there you do see a little bit of the inexperience for Busick. Once he gets that ball in his hands, makes a questionable call there, handing it to Haley Buckles. When you've already got a fumble on the play, the last thing you want to do is start moving that ball again. And so that's a close play. Deacons fortunate to maintain possession.
You're completely right, Jed, when you're saying that. But then also at the same time, you saw that it was a designed run coming out.
Right.
I think he was just trying to salvage the play a little bit, but at the same time, better just to keep that thing and just lay down with it.
So close call, but the Deacons still have it. 3rd and 16 now. Busick fires a dime to Seville. Cam Seville trying to make a man miss. Samuelson wrapped around his ankles, and he's finally down at the 24-yard line. And Cam Seville continues to have a tremendous year here for the Shanley Deacons. The senior just joined this football program this season, and in his one season of high school play, he is having an unbelievable year. Arguably the Deacons' top receiver this year.
And, you know, watching that, Cam, he's not the speediest guy ever, but, you know, he's got the height. He can run the routes. He has hands. And, you know, that's what makes for a good wide receiver right there.
Busick fires one on the outside. Not going too far, though. It was a low ball just scooped up off the ground that time by Jake McKeever, another first-year high school player here for the Deacons.
And, you know, talking about that, Jed, and we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Shanley really does have that senior leadership for them. You know, a lot of seniors joining this year, excited about the program, about the new coaches and everything, but they've truly shown their presence and their ability to make plays on the field, with both Cam Seville and then Jacob McKeever being able to make major contributions to this team.
So Shanley now facing 2nd and 7 at the 22-yard line. It's been a long drive. Cade Busick sees green. There's a flag down, but look at this run for Busick, turning the corner and into the end zone. This one might be coming back, but you still have got to tip your hat to Cade Busick on a heck of a play.
You know, being able to respond with it and everything, I think what we're seeing is here.
You know what? I think that's an illegal hands to the face that time, and if that's the case, it would be going against Caden Dakota of Turtle Mountain, but I don't know if that is the call.
We'll have to see what happens.
And that is the call, so the touchdown is going to stand. And how about Cade Busick? He can do it with his arm, and he can do it with his legs.
And that's truly what we have seen. You know, he didn't see anybody open, you know, getting in that little presence in the pocket, and then being able to make the read and seeing that green space and having that touchdown.
So Shanley up big right now, 41-0, trying to make it 42-0. A closer game going on out west, though, as this kick is good. Top-ranked St. Mary's leads third-ranked Jamestown just 3-0 at halftime. St. Mary's and Jamestown, that's a game to watch. The number 1 and the number 3 team in the division. St. Mary's has not surrendered any points all season. That continues to be the case, but they're having some trouble scoring against the Blue Jays. That'll be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Definitely have to keep an eye on that, Jed, because, you know, Shanley, they already played Jamestown. They won. But then at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, they're playing St. Mary's next week.
That is correct, in Bismarck.
And that could truly be the leading factor to see who the top seed in the playoff is for the playoffs this year. And, you know, Jamestown and St. Mary's, they're both very much a run-first team, big, heavy teams. And then Shanley, who's ranked number 2, is a little bit more passing air attack with it and everything. And so you got to wonder if Shanley would be able to play good defense on St. Mary's and then have that passing attack. Would they be able to beat them?
Absolutely. That'll be a good matchup to watch. As you said, kind of opposite mentalities going up against each other. And, of course, the rivalry between Shanley and St. Mary's is second to none. Interesting to see what will happen, though, between St. Mary's and Jamestown. Big implications, like we said. I think, no doubt about it, St. Mary's the favorite going into next week. They've been the number 1 team pretty much all year in this division. But Shanley's been right there as the number 2 squad. And that game's starting to look like it's going to be closer and closer every week. So that'll be fun to see what happens there. As for this game, though, Turtle Mountain's going to go back to work, down 42-0 after really just a masterful drive by Cade Busick made this 42-0.
You know, the two long, beautiful passes and then a long run, too. That drive was Cade Busick. Fantastic drive. You know, a little couple mistakes here and there, but even still, he rebounds from them and then is able to put in the touchdown.
So 4:56 here for Turtle Mountain to work with, and we got a flag as LaRock was not going anywhere on that play, brought down for about 2. And if you saw on the kickoff, folks, that kick was from a much closer distance due to the illegal hands to the face call on the touchdown. And perhaps a block in the back, maybe.
No, yeah, a very violent physical hit. And, you know, that's what happens on the outside there. You got guys who are all flowing to the ball and everything. And then the offensive players come, and they're able to blindside the defensive players. Can be dangerous, and then sometimes ends up resulting in penalties like that.
And, yes, that is the call. So that's going to back Turtle Mountain way up here to about their own 10-yard line. And that is not the way you want to start this drive off if you're Turtle Mountain. You're working out of a big-time hole now. That did appear to be the correct call, though. It looked to be a block in the back that time. So now it's 1st and 20 for the Braves. It's going to be a fake handoff, the play action pass, and it's complete out to Lundy. Lundy running violently up the field, and man, is he fun to watch after the catch. He just barrels forward.
And you know, that is what Turtle Mountain needed. They were able to get Lundy in space, the big man in space. He makes the catch with those soft hands. And then Haley Buckles just having a struggle bringing him down. You see Lundy's powerful arms just stiff-arming him. And then finally Cava just having to come in and take him down.
And it's actually the safety, I believe, Hoffer that time who ends up on him. But still, Josh, I don't think Shanley, I don't think it mattered who they put out there on him. A guy like Lundy is just not going to go down without at least a couple of guys there to bring him to the ground. So it's I formation for Turtle Mountain, 1st and 10 after that play. It's a little pitch, and they're going back to the air. Samuelson going to have to throw it out to his quarterback, and look at this. What a play for another first down. Russ Parisian catches the pass from Isaiah Samuelson. And boy, I feel like I should be saying the reverse there as the receiver finds his quarterback for the first down.
You know, it's an interesting thing to say. I wonder if we're playing some backyard football right now. It looks like the type of plays that you can make. You know, just doing the spin around, getting the reverse, and then finding your quarterback down the field.
Absolutely, a little bit of razzle-dazzle being played on the field right now by the Braves, and it's working as they've got another big gain here with 3:50 to go in this half. Man in motion now, it's Samuelson, and this time it's a handoff up the gut, not going very far though. That play blown up by Joe Cava.
And you know, Joe Cava, we've seen this throughout the game, just this explosive speed off the line, just beats his man off the ball, is able to find the running back, and then just makes the tackle.
And Joe Cava, the athleticism is just so impressive given his size. I mean, we're talking about a guy coming out there weighing in at 225 pounds, and he is able to move very quick for a guy of his size, and that's what makes him so dangerous up there. So 2nd down and 8 after a short gain that time. Samuelson goes in motion again. We got a flag. Parisic in trouble, though. Wrapped up and brought down by who else but Joe Cava. The sophomore making another great play at the line there.
And I think the Shanley coaches declined the penalty there, obviously with the now loss in down, and then also with the loss in yards too. It just made sense to decline the penalty.
Right, they'd rather take the loss of down than 2 or 3 more yards lost. It's a smart call to decline. And now we got a timeout taken, and I believe that is Turtle Mountain taking their final timeout of the first half. And hard to blame them here, 3rd and 8. It's a pretty big play in this first half. They had some momentum. They had a drive going, and all of a sudden, Joe Cava kind of brings that to a screeching halt.
You know, 3:02 left, second half, and for Turtle Mountain, you're really going to have to look to make a play here. Because if you're Turtle Mountain's defense and the coaches, if Shanley gets the ball again, you know they're going to be looking to score. And you're worried about that because they've been very, very effective, still with 3 timeouts left. And a lot of time to score if Shanley does get the ball back.
Well, and you know, Josh, like you said, if Shanley does get the ball back, they got the time, and they will do it. They're going to try to score. You give them 3 minutes, you give them 30 seconds. One thing I've noticed about Troy Mattern this season, the foot never comes off the gas, and I absolutely don't think that is a sign of disrespect. I just think that is the Troy Mattern mentality. He never stops, and his team never stops. They're going to try to score no matter what the score is. And like I said, it's not a sign of disrespect. It's just him competing because that's what he is. He's a competitor. So 3rd and 12, big 3rd down, 3:02 on the clock. Turtle Mountain just taking that final timeout. Trying to find Lundy this time. Parisic just overthrows him. A nice job, though, with, about 3/4 of the Shanley defense coming down right in his face that time.
You know, Lundy slightly misreading the ball there and everything. But then back to what you were saying with Troy Mattern's coaching style. Along with that, I think that's trying to instill in his team, and that is to be never to be content with what they have. You know, to always keep pushing forward, because you know. Football, it's a great model for life and everything. You can never be content with what you have. You always just got to keep pushing forward and trying, and that's what Troy Mattern is trying to do.
Absolutely, and we got a bit of a botch play here, and now Peltier is just going to have to run with it after that snap went over his head, and boy, the special teams play continues to be a big struggle as the Deacons are going to take over at the 35-yard line now.
Another gaff with the snap. We saw one under center during a regular offensive possession, and now one on the punt. And just the regular fundamentals, a lot of illegal formations, false starts, snaps, a lot of things that have just gone wrong for Turtle Mountain.
And Josh, I just think that's kind of that the rawness of this Turtle Mountain team that we talked about. A lot of youth, a lot of inexperience, a lot of potential out there, but just some kinks that need to be ironed out. And now a handoff up the middle to Fredericks, who just barrels forward. And boy, I have never seen a guy the size of Cole Fredericks. Not a lot to him. You know, he's a tall, lanky running back, 6 foot 155. I just have never seen a guy that size be so fearless running the ball like that.
Well, another thing, Jed, Cole is a wrestler. And, you know, wrestling, along with football, is one of the toughest sports out there. And, you know, being a running back is a lot like being a wrestler. You just got to go out there and make something happen.
Absolutely. Fredericks just fearless, and it's working out well for him right now. So 2:10 on the clock right now, and we've got some flashes of lightning in the distance, if I'm not mistaken. And that could be bad news for this game. As you all know, lightning can result in a 45-minute delay, I believe.
But even still, Jed, it's a far way off in the distance right now, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, everybody's first priority is the safety of the players and of the fans. So if it is a dangerous situation, there will be a delay.
And Busick fires a nice ball that time, but just running out of real estate. He had a receiver in the corner. I believe that was Seville. And boy, Josh, do they love to run that play with Cam Seville. Corner of the end zone, just lob one up to the big 6'5" receiver.
And we'll see. The thing is, one of the reasons why they love to run it is because it has been so successful in previous games. You know, Seville, he's shown that ability to be able to go up and get those balls. And then Busick has also shown his ability to make the perfect toss right to him.
Yeah, it's a real good connection, Busick to Seville. When Kuhneman was playing before he got hurt, he and Cam Seville also had a great rapport. So Cam Seville just seems to kind of mesh well with whoever's throwing the ball to him. And now Busick will carry up the right side. And you got to imagine they're just trying to get to halftime right now. That lightning is flashing about every 10 seconds off in the distance. As you said, Josh, it's pretty far away. If they can just get this game to halftime, though, maybe see if this will move through, maybe move past. Unfortunately, we do not have a weather department up here. We're just sports guys. But we'll try to do our best.
You know, Jed, I think you would be a good weatherman. You know, you could go into it.
I appreciate it, Josh. For those of you who have watched for a while, perhaps you remember the Colby Johnson weather report from a few years back. Maybe we need to get him back up here as that ball's completed to Jake McKeever for the first down.
Well, update with Colby. He's down in Nebraska right now, right?
That is correct. Colby Johnson at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Alum, you graduated last year, doing great things at Nebraska.
And illegal hands to the face call, I believe, will be going against Turtle Mountain. So that's going to move this ball forward even more. I believe that's the case. And, yeah, the chains are going to move way up here now. So
automatic first down, and then
tack that on to the end of the catch.
It looks like it's not a first and goal, but it's a first down right at about the 11. So
it's about as close as you can get. Our apologies, folks. Just trying to figure things out here. A little busy talking about Colby Johnson earlier. And that lightning continuing to flash right now. Like I said, likely just trying to get to the end of the half here. Minute 30 on the clock. Busick going to hand this ball off to Austin Manuel, and Austin Manuel is into the end zone. The fullback carries it in for the touchdown, and the Deacons just continue to build this lead now with a minute 18 on the clock.
And you see Manuel just rumbling in there for the touchdown. The defensive man trying to stop it, but Manuel was not going to be stopped. He takes the contact, he takes the hit to the legs, and he just knocks it over into the end zone.
So 48-0. Max Bush lining up to kick. Boy, what a comeback game has he had. You know, the last couple of weeks he's struggled to get the altitude behind those balls that he needs, but tonight he has really been doing a great job. and he converts another. So good thing to see there for Shanley, the senior kicker in his first year kicking, having a great night.
And, you see Shanley not even taking one of their timeouts on that drive, almost just trying to drain the clock out and then finish out with a touchdown, but giving Turtle Mountain a minute 18 left to try to do something with the ball.
Right. They everything really going well for the Deacons there. They get the points. They bleed about 2 minutes off the clock. Just Shanley really being a model of efficiency here tonight. I think that's really been the story. They've been efficient. They've played clean. They've just looked really strong overall. They're a well-oiled machine, Josh.
Mm-hmm. Very, very much so.
So getting ready to kick this one away now will be Cody Malish once again. And Cody Malish has had a great night on the kickoffs here for the Deacons. Not a super strong wind either, so he's been doing it all by himself. Not much wind there to help him.
And it looks like right now that the wind is blowing against him, coming in from the north.
Yeah, the wind has picked up, as you said, Josh. And so maybe that will start to be a factor here.
All right, Deacons fans, everybody up to the kickoff.
And so that ball is set, and Malish will kick this one away. It's a squib up the middle this time, an interesting call. And Turtle Mountain going to fall on that ball at the 25-yard line, so it works the same as if it had been a touchback.
And, sometimes those squibs are just the best that you can do. And then also for Turtle Mountain receiving that, those guys who are blocking up front, they don't get the ball a lot sometimes. They can be offensive linemen, tight ends, bigger guys who don't really get to run with the ball too often. And sometimes that's just the best play, to be able to fall on it and then to safely have the ball for your offense.
Right. It is not uncommon for those squibs to be mishandled, as you said, by those guys who aren't used to taking those balls. Usually in that part of the field, you don't have the hands team out there. So a minute 18 on the clock. Turtle Mountain going to try to do their best with the time they've got, and they've done a great job working with not a lot in this game. And that ball, though, is picked off by Haley Buckles. Oh, man, what a grab. Out of nowhere, Haley Buckles, look at this replay.
And, he's just tracking the ball the whole time. Look at that. He's not even focusing on the wide receiver. He's thinking, what, I'm the wide receiver in this situation. I'm going to make this play. And he makes just a very athletic grab, jumps up, is able to grab that with one hand, corral it in with two, and then just falls on it.
Haley Buckles tracked that ball, as you said, Josh, all the way. The second it left Russ Parizic's hand, he was right on top of it, followed it all the way, and then made one heck of a grab. I have no idea how he pulled that thing in, but, man, that was impressive for Haley Buckles.
And, now the Shanley offense has another opportunity to score again, and it looks like the Turtle Mountain defense just running over a little bit, just trying to figure out what's happening right now.
And they're going to have a late substitution here. The lightning continues to flash. It's just kind of moving across our field of vision right now. That's the good news. It doesn't appear to be coming towards us, as Cade Busick is still on his feet, shedding tacklers, and down at the 20-yard line. Cade Busick's good night just continues.
That it does, Jed. And also, the clock stops when you get a first down in high school football. So it looks like the Shanley coach is just going to drain the timeout a little bit more and not take the timeout.
But you better believe they are still going to go towards that end zone. What did we say earlier? Troy Mattern doesn't take his foot off the gas. And right now is no exception. He just continues to run this ball right down the throats of Turtle Mountain, as that ball's completed to Cam Seville, who's into the end zone for the Deacon touchdown. And Shanley's offense, man, St. Mary's better take note, because the Deacons just seem to get better every week.
That is so true. We've been watching these games all season, and what it has been, the first game, you saw these flashes of this brilliance for the Shanley offense, but right now you're really seeing it come together. The ability to run the ball, to pass the ball. Truly, the defense is just being suffocating, and the special teams being fantastic.
Max Bush now will try to make this 56-0 after just 2 quarters of play. That ball, I think, was maybe tipped, but it's not going to matter, because that is in. 56-0 in favor of the Deacons. And Josh, just what a performance here from Shanley tonight.
And you know, what you got to be thinking is that Shanley is most likely going to put their JV players in for the second half, and with that, have some very valuable playing time for those younger guys to help build the program later.
Absolutely. If Turtle Mountain sticks with their starters, though, for the second half, I have to imagine Shanley's JV would be in for some serious trouble. Those second stringers for the Deacons facing some big guys like Turtle Mountain, facing those trick plays that, you typically have older players who are more experienced in reacting to. Turtle Mountain, kind of a dangerous team to put in younger guys to play against. Obviously, the Deacons have done a great job tonight, up big, but the Braves, just a team that will not roll over. And so if you put in that second string, that next wave of guys, you better watch out, because Turtle Mountain is going to come right back at you. Malish, another squib. This time it's fielded by the Braves. Fielded quite well, actually. Look at this, a little bit of space up the near side. It's Malish who has to make the tackle as Kobe LaValle brought that ball up on the near side, and what a nice return that was.
And that's also the danger with the squibs. The player for Turtle Mountain got it so fast that he was able to pick out that hole, and then Cody Malish, who used to play defense for Shanley, is able to make that tackle in the open field. Again, a very difficult thing to do. Nice job by him.
Always fun as the kicker to be able to get a tackle. Right? And so 56-0 the score, 33 seconds here left to go in the first half. Shanley just continues to really take it to the Braves. Turtle Mountain, though, as we said, these guys will not go away. They are pulling everything they've got out of their bag of tricks. They've tried a lot of things, a lot that's worked pretty well. Somewhat surprising they don't have any points on the board considering how well they have moved the ball at times. But I do think that is the key there, how well they've moved it at times.
At times,
unfortunately,
yes.
They've petered out on some of these drives. And you see right now they do not have any timeouts left, so they're just going to have to run some quick plays here. Parisic going to roll out, has a lot of space but no open receivers. He's going to have to take this one to the sideline, get out of bounds for a gain of 1 or 2. That'll leave him 7 seconds. Time to run 1, maybe 2 if you can do it efficiently.
And if you're Turtle Mountain right now, like you said, Jed, they have no timeouts. And so what you're thinking, if you're looking to score, if you're going to go for 2 plays, a quick pass to the outside, it needs to be quick hitting, a 3-4 second play, and then the player getting out of bounds right away. And then from there, having your QB just with his arm strength, just try to chuck it down to the end zone.
Absolutely. The other thing, Josh, if you're going to try to get 2 plays in here, that first one, you got to be taking a shot past the first down marker, because you do not want to get tackled short of the first down marker and have that clock run. They might go more conservative here, though, just get out of the half, and that will be the case as it's a quick handoff to LaRock. It's a nice carry, but he's brought down for a gain of about 7 or 8, and that will do it for the first half. After 2 quarters of play, 56-0 in favor of the Deacons. And Josh, your thoughts here on this first half?
Like we've been saying, Jed, it's just been a dominating performance by the Shanley Deacons. You know, Turtle Mountain, they've been showing flashes of good offense, good defense, but Shanley just truly using their speed, athletic ability, leadership, and coaching to make the most out of this game and have the score be what it is right now.
All right, so we will step away here during halftime, but don't go anywhere, folks. Going to be a good finish here in the second half. Be sure to stick around. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School football action. I'm Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Josh Johnson as we're getting ready for the second half of action here between the Shanley Deacons and the Turtle Mountain Braves. But, folks, before we get back to the action, we'd like to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.club.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. And, folks, one more thing before we get back to the game at hand. Quick update from Double-A action around the state. Watford City is leading Central Cass 18-13 at halftime. And at halftime in the St. Mary's Jamestown game, folks, big news. St. Mary's has just surrendered their first points all season as they're up 10-7 over Jamestown. That is a nail-biter going on out there. We'll try to keep you posted. But back to the game at hand, Shanley and Turtle Mountain. Folks, Shanley really in control right now, 56-0. Josh, your thoughts as we get ready for the second half of play.
Like you said, it's 56-0. For any team right now, if you're in the losing position in this game, it's a very tough go. It's really pushing your mental toughness, your ability to keep fighting and to keep going in this game, because this is when despair starts to set in. And so we have to look to see if Turtle Mountain keeps playing and, keeps pushing, keeps showing a little bit signs of hope.
Absolutely. And, Josh, I have no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what they're going to do. Turtle Mountain has just refused to give up in this game. The trick plays, they're pulling everything out, pulling out all the stops just to put some points up against the Deacons. They've been close. They've had some good drives, but it's been the consistency that's been their issue. Just when it seems like they're going to put one in, just when it seems like they're finally getting something going, Shanley is just able to shut them down, and Turtle Mountain either just kind of peters out, maybe they take a penalty, but it's been, a lot of self-inflicted wounds on those drives where it looks like they're going to score.
And, that's something that any team, especially when you're trying to be a run-first team, that you can have. When you have a good 4 or 5 yard run and then it's taken back by a 5-yard penalty, it's very difficult for your offense to be able to recover and then to keep pushing and progressing.
Absolutely, Josh. No, I think you're right on the nose right there. And, folks, we talked about the lightning. It's moving right across the field right now. But the good news is it is off in the distance. It is outside the threshold. It is not close enough where they have to be calling this game, delaying this game right now. And it's moving away. So that's great news right there. Fingers crossed, but I'm pretty sure, should be able to play the rest of this game. No problems with the weather. So that's great news, as that was kind of a concern coming into tonight. Also, folks, got to give a shout-out to a listener at home, Lucas Johnson. For those of you who tuned in last week or last season, Lucas Johnson, former color man for football and a couple other sports with Shanley TV. So shout-out to Lucas. Thank you for tuning in. And, hey, thanks again for coming back last week in the absence of Josh Johnson, of course. Lucas Johnson filled in admirably. Also, no relation between those two Johnsons.
We could be related. We all know how great Lucas is. I share many of the same
very
qualities.
Very true, very true. Could be genetics right there that make you two such great color men. So we're getting ready to start off this second half here. And, folks, hey, if you want to shout out on air, be sure to connect with us on social media. Tweet out to Shanley TV. Just try to get in touch with us. We'll try to give you a shout out. Always want to know if you're tuning in, so be sure to hit us up.
And then also, if I can give a shout-out to my brother, Jeremiah Johnson, and his wife, Ashley Johnson, and their daughter, Grace Ann. She's adorable. She's like 4 or 5 months old, Jed, but, she's adorable. Gotta love her.
Happy to have her tuning in then, Josh. So like we said, folks, just shoot us give us a message, hit us up on social media, try to give you a shout out as we start things off here in the second half of play between the Deacons and the Braves. And a shifty little return there that time. Not quite sure what the number is. Try to get that. And it looks to be number 29 for the Deacons. And that is Carter Hills. So Carter Hills showing off some nice moves there, the freshman.
Like you said, Jed, Carter Hills, a freshman. You got to think that Shanley is now, if they have him returning, looks like they have a little bit smaller of guys out there and everything. Looks like they put their JV in for the second half.
That does appear to be the case. Some of the second stringers are getting a turn out there, and that means Cade Busick has taken a seat, and in his place, Ben Osley, the next man up on the depth chart, if Busick were to go down. No doubt about it, the Deacons want to get him some reps as they're pretty thin at the quarterback position right now.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you see Shanley just starting out with the run and everything, but then Turtle Mountain showing some dominance at the line there, being able to get in the backfield and then wrap up the running back for Shanley.
Absolutely. Turtle Mountain showing some good fight right there, getting in the backfield, blowing that play up. Deacons taking their time here, getting this play set. Personnel obviously going to be a bit more of a challenge with some new faces coming in there as you see a late substitution. Coming out onto the field that time, it is Jackson Lyer. And hey, talking about former Shanley TV color guys, Jackson Lyer is, of course, the brother of the fantastic Wyatt Lyer, the original man up in the booth here with me. And so gotta give that connection right there. And boy, that was a big hit right there. I think the ball may have popped out towards the end of that play.
That it did. And, you know, with some of these smaller guys, they don't have the experience playing against these, like, seniors and juniors and these guys who have been playing varsity. And taking hits like that, what you just saw right there, that hurts. That's right into the side, right below where the pads extend. And that exposed stomach right there, that really kills to take a shot.
Yeah, that was Kevin Gladich that time taking a shot from Cody Galay. And, oof, that is a guy to take a shot from, 5'9", 225. Just a big, compact linebacker there. And, you know, Josh, that's how you learn, though, because that's kind of a wake-up call. That's how the big boys hit, and that's something you got to get accustomed to. I formation for the Deacons. It's a pitch out to Gladich. He's unfazed from that last hit as he is right back out there, and he is taken down hard. And Kevin Gladich, welcome to varsity ball. He has, of course, already been introduced, though. If you tuned in last week, you saw Kevin Gladich pick up an interception in the second half of the Central Cass game.
Looks like it is a flag on Shanley. I missed the call on what it is. Holding.
Holding is the call, Josh, and, you know, that's another thing that's not really surprising playing those younger guys. That's just something that's bound to happen. You get a lot more of those type of mistakes.
But that's where the growth comes in and everything. You know, you really do grow from the mistakes. The mistakes are what's sticking in your mind a little bit. And, you know, what makes you progress throughout the game and then figure out how to get that better technique, that better angle to then the next play not have to use that penalty and just make it off ability.
For sure, yeah. It's like we say, you know, these reps here, you can't, you know, nothing compares to live game reps. There's no question about that. And that's why they're just so valuable. As you see Ben Osley going to try to make a pass here, but it's intercepted and taking it to the house. Melvin Nadu for Turtle Mountain, and how about that? The Braves get on the board with a pick six.
And, you know, that is just very unfortunate for Shanley right there. Good play by Turtle Mountain, taking advantage of the opportunity in the screenplay. Just tough throw, was over the head. And, you know, he's able to get those hands and just bring it in for the touchdown. Good job by Turtle Mountain defense, showing some signs of life.
It's exactly what you need if you're the Braves. And, Josh, in that first half, we said if the Deacons came out with some of those second stringers playing, they were going to have their hands full because Turtle Mountain is keeping that varsity out. They're not quitting, and they're dominating right now. You know, it's pretty clear that Shanley can only win with those, you know, first stringers out there. The second stringers definitely have their hands full with Turtle Mountain right now. But look at that. We got a blocked PAT. Matt Machenbacher, the Swiss Army knife for the Deacons. He does a little bit of everything, and that time he gets in there to block the kick.
Machenbacher, he's one of those guys that you will see all over the field. Like you said, you call him the Swiss Army knife. Coaches love guys like him because he's willing to do everything. He's going to make the hustle plays on special teams like you just saw right there. He's willing to be a blocker. He's willing to do the dirty work on defense and take on those blockers. He's willing to block on offense, run the ball, catch the ball. He's willing to do just about anything for this team.
Absolutely. You know, you got to have guys like Matt Machenbacher. They're the guys that really round out a team. A contender has to have those types of guys if they want to come away with wins in big games, in tight games.
And then also Machenbacher, only a sophomore. You can expect from him in later years, or maybe even later in the season, to make more of an impact, getting this playing time and developing.
And, folks, another shout-out here. Amy Grinsteiner tuning in, the Sullivan Middle School teacher. So fantastic to hear that. Thank you for tweeting at us. Folks, if you want a shout-out on air, just be sure to hit us up on social media, and we'll try to give you one. And a special shout-out to Miss Grinsteiner, a big Notre Dame fan. So I got to give some love there. I'm a big Irish fan myself.
Well, Jed, we can't all be perfect and, root for the Texas Longhorns. But, you keep rooting for Notre Dame.
I think I will, Josh.
Well, fair enough.
All right, so 7:30 left to go here in the third quarter. 56-6 after that block PAT on Turtle Mountain. Shanley offense obviously not having much success on their last possession. Facing third and long, Ben Osley threw the pick there with a lot of guys in his face. We'll see if he can recover here on this next drive, have a better go at it. It's a handoff up the middle, and that's not going far. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2 for the Deacons.
And the person running the ball there for Shanley, number 26, Carter Kochman, he's a freshman. And, another guy who's in track, excels in running those distances, hoping to develop him into a back that may be a little bit bigger than Fredericks, but also one who's able to hit those edges, but then also run up the middle very effectively.
Yeah, Carter Kochman, definitely a guy to keep your eyes on, in the upcoming years. As you said, Josh, he's just a freshman, so there's some time to go before he really starts to make an impact. But I think sooner rather than later, he's going to start to get some more meaningful reps here for the Deacons. Kochman really just kind of an athlete, one of those guys. You give him a ball and he's going to do good things with it, and that's been the case this football season for the Deacons.
And you see him just bursting through the hole right there. He took a solid hit from the linebacker, kind of flew back a little. But as he gets older, a little bit more muscle, size, speed, pretty soon it'll be him sending the linebacker flying back and picking up more yards.
Absolutely. So, folks, on another update from AA football around the state, St. Mary's now leads Jamestown 17-7 with 10:08 left to go in the fourth quarter. For those of you who watched first week of the season right here on Shanley TV, you saw the Deacons take down Jamestown 14-7. St. Mary's now looking to do the same thing, walk away with a win against a tough Blue Jays team. They're up by 10 right now, but still a lot of time on the clock, and look at this. Another interception. Oh, and the lateral. Oh, man. And, boy, Turtle Mountain doing nothing if not keeping this game exciting.
And, rough game for Osley, but even still, Turtle Mountain just showing what they got a little bit, having a little bit of fun, getting the pick laterally, just tossing it backwards, trying to get those extra yards. You got to love it. The team's still fighting. They're still going. And, that's really what you like to see from these guys.
Josh, I can't agree with you more. I'm loving it right now. Isaiah Samuelson, this is the wide receiver who's been throwing bombs on offense for Turtle Mountain. Now he's lateraling interceptions on defense. Seriously, you just put a camera on number 8 tonight, and it's going to be an entertaining show to watch. Isaiah Samuelson has been so much fun to watch here for the Braves.
You got to wonder what his personality is like, if that's his personality on the football field right there.
No doubt about it. Fun guy to watch. And now an opportunity here and a completed pass for about 6 or 7 that time. Russ Parisian going to Terrell Lunday. And, boy, that Parisian-Lunday connection has been really obvious throughout this game. Those two have got a great rapport. We've seen it time and time again.
Well, the great thing is Lunday, like we've been saying, he's a big dude. And then he also has that speed. He's about 6'3", and so he's able to get those passes and just outman the smaller defensive backs with that. And we have seen that throughout the first half and now starting in the second half.
So 2nd and 3 now. 5:05 left to go in the third quarter. I formation, Parisian under center. Takes the snap. It's a handoff right up the middle. It's not going too far, though. Travis LaRock wrapped up and brought down. It will be enough, though, for the first down. A nice second effort there.
440, and this is looking like this is going to be Turtle Mountain's first drive into the end zone. But we'll have to see how Shanley's defense responds to this. A lot of defenses, they become a lot tougher, a lot more mentally tough and physically tough inside this, 5-yard range right here.
we'll see if the Shanley D can bend but not break. Like you said, Josh, LaRock taking the handoff, but LaRock not going too far. That time he is wrapped up and brought down again. And that will make it 2nd and goal here, about 3 yards out from the end zone.
And, you know, if I am Turtle Mountain right now, I love the run game, but I also like the target of Lundy in the end zone. He's a big man. We've seen that he has good hands. If they get him to the outside or deep in the end zone, you can toss that thing up to him and hope that he comes down with it.
Absolutely, just kind of lob one up there and let his size do the work. I formation, play action pass, maybe looking to Lundy here, and that's the target, but this ball is tipped and cannot be pulled in. That will bring up 3rd and goal. And, you know, Josh, you really kind of called it here. The Shanley defense had some trouble earlier in the drive, but all of a sudden they have really stiffened up here, backed up against their own goal line.
And that's the thing. You saw that Lundy was the targeted receiver there, but at the same time, there's 3 or 4 Shanley defenders around him, just making it a very, very tough catch.
All right, another opportunity. 3:12 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's going by fast. It's going to be a handoff to LaRock. A great spin move, but he's wrapped up and brought down once again. LaRock can't punch in the rock that time. As he's brought down, it'll bring up 4th and goal.
You know, Jed, your puns are almost as good as the Shanley's defense right now. Almost.
Almost, Josh, but not quite, as the Deacon defense continues to hold strong. I appreciate it, though. So 1 yard out now are the Braves, and they will be going for it. You know, obviously, I think that's a good call here. You're down big. You've got some momentum, but now we've got a whistle, and it looks like a timeout taken by Shanley, if I'm not mistaken. Not quite sure.
Maybe just trying to, like, get that defensive scheme in and everything.
And, you know, I do think it is a Turtle Mountain timeout. Scoreboard showing Turtle Mountain with 2 timeouts, Shanley with 1. Not quite sure about that, but Turtle Mountain, I believe, is the team that takes timeout this time.
So, Jed, 2 things I'm going to be looking for here. Either LaRock on the ground, possibly to the outside, because inside they haven't had much luck these past plays. Maybe to the outside. And then also, again, looking for maybe Lundy to the outside or deep in the end zone if it is a pass play.
Both solid options, Josh. You might be right. It wouldn't shock me, though, if we see Parisian maybe on a little sneak here. We saw it work earlier. He is just going to drop back, though, for the pass, and it will be completed for the touchdown. Tanner Breen puts that one in, able to catch that on the out route, and that's going to make it 56-12.
I like the call by the Turtle Mountain coaches there. They saw that what Shanley was ready for. And so what did they do? They did the unexpected. They got Breen out on the outside, just a little bit quicker of a guy, just able to get that break, and then just ready for the catch.
Absolutely. And now on the 2-point try, Parisian has got Breen again.
Almost same exact route, same exact toss. Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Am I right, Jed?
Absolutely. It works that time, makes it 56-14. And, you know, Josh, like we said, Shanley has tried to come out here with some of their second-string guys, and it's not really working right now. Turtle Mountain is all over them. They are looking like the better team right now in this 3rd quarter. Really playing great, showing a lot of improvement from the first half.
And so right now what I think we're going to be seeing from the Shanley coaches is really encouraging and pushing those younger guys to keep playing and then to play the hardest that they can. Because like we've been saying, there's no experience like games and just those live plays. I expect to see the younger players really keep going and fire up for this.
All right, we'll see how they respond here as it's a short kick. And that ball will be brought out to about the 32-yard line. So Shanley going to go to work from there. Ben Osley, back-to-back interceptions, a tough break for him, the freshman quarterback. But, you know, Josh, you're playing a much more experienced Turtle Mountain defense as they've still got all those starters out there. Osley, of course, gave up the pick 6 and then an interception that led to a touchdown. But, you know, not much he can do playing against a tough opponent here, facing a lot of pressure. We'll see how he responds, though. Perhaps he can get back at this Turtle Mountain defense. It's a handoff up the middle, and it's not going too far. good for a gain of about 2 or 3 that time. I believe that's Carter Kochman carrying once again.
And, you know, we've been seeing some hard runs from him and everything. And if this Shanley team can mount a drive where they're getting runs like that, that's exactly the type of drive that they would want. It keeps the offense on the field, it drains the clock out, and then it also gets those guys those hard-fought yards and teaches them how to fight in these games.
Absolutely, and got to say, I really like what we're seeing from Carter Kochman here tonight. Showing some real hard-nosed running. You talked about his speed, but he's also got that ability to lower his shoulder, like you said, and I really love that. It's really looked good right here for the Deacons. Carter Kochman looking to be a good piece for the future. Osley in shotgun now, 2nd and 6. Some misdirection. He's going to keep it on the ground, and here goes Ben Osley. A little bit of redemption as he goes for a gain of about 20 yards that time. Or 15, excuse me.
I like the call because what do you do when a QB's having trouble throwing the ball and it's high school football? You know, you let him run the ball. Let him get a gain, a little bit of confidence instilled in him and everything. And now it looks like it's the end of the 3rd quarter, on to the 4th.
Absolutely. And Josh, you're so right there. You know, it's not working through the air tonight for Osley so far. Give him a little bit of confidence, get him going on the ground. Here's the thing to remember. Ben Osley, we're talking about a freshman right now. And let's take the example of Cade Busick. In Cade Busick's earlier years with this Deacon program, he was much more of a runner from the quarterback position. Throwing was just not his strong suit at all. You mentioned earlier for a time he was moved to running back because, they thought that was where his future was at. But the improvement we've seen from Cade Busick as a passer has really been tremendous. And if Ben Osley can, improve like Cade Busick has, he'll be just fine going forward. It's so important to remember every year these guys progress just so much. It's just really impressive. How guys like Cade Busick can go from a shaky passer to a guy who's thrown for 5 touchdowns and 200-plus yards.
And that's the thing, Jed. Every year you need new people to step up right at the start of the year, but then also injuries always happen, unexpected things happen. People step up by themselves, and that's what you need for a football team.
And look at this, a nice run here once again for Kochman. Continues a real nice second half right now.
And you see just him taking the handoff right there, just finding the hole and then just accelerating through, finding that green space.
Gets a little bit rocked at the end of the play, but Carter Kochman doing a good job of just absorbing those hits. .11:30 left to go here in this game. 2nd and 1, for the Deacons here. And it's a 56-14 lead. Shanley offense looking vastly improved right now. Haven't had a turnover here on this possession. They haven't thrown as much, though, I think has been the key.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. It gets much harder to pass and throw with those younger players, especially when they haven't been coached up as much. Don't have the technique, the routes down, just the repertoire with the other players down as much.
And now another handoff up the middle. I think that's Gladich on the carry, but he's not going far. Turtle Mountain really has not let anybody go up the middle here in this second half.
Mm-hmm. There's been 1 or 2 holes, but those have been more just like gaping holes and just things that like most anybody could run through. Just great job with the misdirection and the runs and the blocking. But when it's been in those close, tight quarters, it's been very tough for the Shanley backs to be able to get through.
And folks, another shout out here to Stacy Bosser watching. Stacy, thank you so much for tweeting at us. Of course, the mother of a legendary Shanley camera operator, Gabby Bossert. So much fun to see that. Thank you so much for getting in contact with us. And folks, be sure, if you're watching at home, tweet at us, message us on Facebook, go to Instagram. Just get in contact with us, and we'll try to shout you out here on air. And boy, carry to the outside, not going far. Turtle Mountain, that run defense, they've had their moments here in the second half. They've given up some carries, but for the most part, they've been stiff as a board right now, just holding up Shanley's run game.
And then also you saw that towards the end of the first half, their outside run defense in particular got tightened up. And then you're just seeing that carry over right now to the second half, just seeing them being able just to collapse that and now have a loss for 2 and now have a long third down for Shanley.
Absolutely. It is 3rd and 12 now for the Deacons. 9:30 left to go in the game. They are at the Turtle Mountain 38, And you can see Turtle Mountain tired right now. Those D linemen down on their knees, just trying to catch their breath. They've been going hard all game, and they've kept it up here in the second half. Look at this, though. Shanley going to convert the 3rd and 12 on a heck of a carry that time from Ben Osley, the quarterback, showing great things with his legs right now.
And Ben Osley, that was great. Turtle Mountain focusing on all the running backs, just pulls the ball from his running back's arms, and then, he just takes it, huge gap, and just racing ahead of his blockers right there, as you saw, just going ahead. But that's sometimes what you need, able to pick up the first down.
Ben Osley making the most of his opportunity here. As we said, the success has not come necessarily through the air, but when it comes to the ground game, Osley really proven his worth. 8:35, clock continuing to run here. I formation for the Deacons. They have a late substitution off the field. Osley going to hand this one off up the middle for a short gain. Good for 4 or 5 as the back falls forward. That time it's Kevin Gladich.
And, as this drive continues, it's 8:10 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. The time keeps ticking a little bit, and the Shanley drive just keeps progressing, which is what the Shanley coaches want.
Yeah, the Deacons have done a great job of bleeding the clock out on this drive. They've had a lot of, third down situations. Looks like they might be giving the ball up, and then all of a sudden they get a fresh set of downs and more time to just eat away. And they've done a great job doing that here tonight.
Another late substitution, one of those things you got to work out with the younger players is just formation types, personnel for each formation and plays and everything.
And, that's the thing, Josh. If you're going to get flagged for too many men or illegal formation or anything like that, better to have it happen here in a game like this than when these guys are starting in, something closer. Mm-hmm. And that time, Kevin Gladich taking another hit.
No, yeah, Kevin Gladich, he's 5'8", about 155 on the roster, which, rosters can be a little iffy on the weight and height sometimes, just getting rocked on the out of bounds, it's a tough hit.
It is, but man, I've been impressed with his ability to just come right back from that. That's a kid, he's going to take that big hit and then he's going to hop right back up and be asking for the ball. He wants another carry.
And, well, you saw how effective he could be right there. Getting to that outside, he really does have that quick acceleration and that speed to be able to turn that corner. Guys
like him and Carter Kochman definitely seem like a strong future in the Shanley backfield. I formation again for the Deacons. It's Kochman who gets the call. He is wrapped up and brought down quickly that time. Turtle Mountain defense swarms at the line of scrimmage.
Wilkie on the stop for the Braves.
6:20 and counting on the clock right now.
Second down and 10 for the Deacons.
It's 2nd and 10 for the Deacons as that play went for no gain. Lightning off in the distance, just continues to get further away. Fortunate not to have that move through this evening.
And still about the weather, it's still hot.
And that is true. Josh is right. It's cooled down some here in the second half, but folks, it is still pretty warm out here. And no doubt that has really been a factor for both these teams here tonight. It's just tough to play in heat like this, especially this kind of humidity.
And then for the trainers and everything, they just got to make sure that the teams stay hydrated. For Shanley, Kelly Burns, long-standing trainer for Shanley and everything. Everybody loves him at Shanley. Been over there for over 20 years, if I'm correct.
I think so, Josh.
Kelly, just the guy who's just completely willing to serve and to help these teams to make sure they stay healthy and safe. Good job by him.
A couple more shout-outs here. Shout out to Mrs. Cornea watching the game from home. So great to see that. My English teacher, so maybe the shout-out can get me a little extra credit. We'll see. And then shout-out here to Justin DeKaiser watching on the way home from a baseball game in Iowa. Great to see that. For those of you who watched last season, you might remember Justin DeKaiser, huge contributor for the Shanley squad last year and really the last couple of years. He was at Shanley. Just kind of a big-time athlete for them, big-time football player. So much fun to see him tuning in. So, Justin, great to see that.
Mm-hmm. You know, has his baseball career going well in college and everything. And it is really great to see that from alumni, you know, still connected with Shanley and still interested to see how it's all going and everything. Gotta love the tradition that Shanley has built up.
Absolutely. It's a ton of fun to see. And so, folks, if you're at home watching, just be sure to hit us up. We love to see it. It's just a lot of fun. And so Shanley continuing to bleed the clock down here, doing a great job of it, Josh. This drive has been going since the third quarter, and now they're going to take a timeout even to game plan here on 4th and 4. This drive has lasted 8 minutes almost in the fourth quarter. Just been an impressive display of game management from Shanley.
Very much so. And like we've been saying, that's what we want to see. You know, the more that the Shanley offense can just keep the ball, the more that means that Turtle Mountain's offense doesn't have it and doesn't have another opportunity to score.
Absolutely. The Braves made quick work with the ball on offense, and Shanley has recognized the threat they pose here in this second half, and they've just totally switched things up. They're not taking any shots. They're playing it smart. They're playing it safe, and it's working really well for them. All right, so after the timeout, the Deacons will come out here, and we'll see what they've got on 4th and 4. I suppose 4th and goal, about 4 yards out from the goal line. And now Osley is going to run it on the keeper and get into the end zone. And there's some redemption for Ben Osley. And that's great to see. 2 picks earlier in the game, but he more than makes up for it here.
We see the fake with the running back just going through. Has a little bit of contact there, but, you know, he's going into the end zone. He was ready to get there, makes the diving play, hops right in. Nice play.
And a thing to note about Ben Osley, you know, you wonder why he runs so well. Obviously a great athlete. He's got good vision, good speed. But that guy can sell a fake, especially for a freshman. He does a lot of those option-type plays, and he really can convince a defense that ball's going to the running back, and then all of a sudden he's 5 yards upfield before you realize he's the guy carrying the ball. And that extra point is up and good. And on that kick, I believe that was Emmett Kenny, if I'm not mistaken.
A freshman kicker that they brought on. He plays soccer for Shanley, but just trying to get their kickers developed a little bit younger. You know, Kenny looking like their up-and-coming guy who they're going to be trusting their future of kicking to.
Not to mention giving Max Bush a break. He had a stellar night. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was 8 for 8. Not too sure about those numbers, but somewhere around there. Max Bush had a great night kicking on those PATs.
Well, you know, I know both of us aren't the greatest at math yet, but I think you're right because 56 points, 8 touchdowns, 8 for 8. Gotta enjoy it.
Pretty sure about those numbers up here. Like we said, we're not weather guys, we're not math guys. We're sports guys, and even then it's a little shaky sometimes. So 2:30 on the clock here, 63-14 the lead. It is a running clock in the fourth quarter right now. So this clock just continues to run as they're kicking it away. Kenny on the kickoff. Some nice power behind that one. It looks like it'll roll into the end zone, and it will. Breen lets it roll in. Smart play. And so Turtle Mountain going to get the ball back here with 2 minutes and counting on the clock.
We'll see. This looks like it's probably going to be the last drive overall for the game. We have the running clock going. Let's see if Turtle Mountain could put anything together. Just one last drive of motivation, a little bit of something to get that motivation and that effort and all that back on their side leading into next week.
And, you know, Josh, whatever they do, I'd love to see Isaiah Samuelson get that ball in his hands because, man, has that guy been fun to watch here tonight. You know, if you're going to pick an MVP for Turtle Mountain tonight, he might be it because, boy, he's just been a real spark plug for him. Man in motion now, it's Breen. Parisian under center, drops back to pass. A little bit of time, fires one to his left. He had Breen, but it's nicely broken up on the far side. And I'm not sure if I've got that number, Josh.
It was, I think that was number 22, Andy Clark.
All right.
I think.
I think you're right on that one too, Josh. Tough to see on the far side of the field. And that does appear to be the number. Andy Clark had some experience last season when the Deacons lost Tom Erie to a foot injury. Erie is obviously back and having a great year. But Clark filled in admirably in Tom Erie's place last season. Most importantly, he got really good experience. So now the junior, when needed, can step up. And look at this, a huge catch by our guy, Josh, Isaiah Samuelson. What do we say? A spark plug. Really just kind of a guy who can give your team a burst of energy.
Just always entertaining to watch. You just saw him. He was in the middle of like 6, 7 guys right there. Just hops up. You know what? I'm just going to grab this ball. It's the end of the game. We're going to do something still, though.
And a good ball nonetheless that time by Parisian. Having a nice second half. Tough throw. Just about brought in by Breen on the final play of the game. But Breen could not quite corral it. And the horn will sound. So Shanley remains undefeated, walking away with a 63-14 win. And Josh, your thoughts not only on tonight, but for both these teams moving forward in the season?
Well, starting with Shanley, this has been by far their best game so far. You've seen all 3 phases of the game put together, and now you saw the coaching, the planning, all of that going into it. And they have St. Mary's next week, the #1 ranked team in the division. You really have to hope that they're able to carry through what they did tonight into next week's game and really respond to St. Mary's after seasons of unfortunate play against them. As for Turtle Mountain, like we were saying, they had flashes of brilliance here or there. You know, they really did show that they had some good plays, some good players and everything, but they were just suffocated by the Shanley team. So hopefully moving forward for them, a little bit more consistency with it all, and then win some games, and then it could be make or break for them as it gets later in the season.
Absolutely. Like you said, some flashes, but at the end of the day, Shanley walks away with the win. The Deacons moved to 5-0, Turtle Mountain to 1-4. As you said, be sure to watch out for that Deacons game against St. Mary's next week. We won't be doing that one as it's out in Bismarck, but it's still going to have some big implications in the standings. For tonight, though, for Josh Johnson and for our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo, Shanley Deacons 63, Turtle Mountain Braves 14. To watch the archived version of this entire game and our other broadcasts, go to ShanleyTV.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of Shanley TV.